So it's interesting. Yesterday I was talking about kind of this high volume nodes in my stream yesterday morning. Uh, and we got a nice bounce. It's quite interesting because it's it kind of bounced exactly where I wanted it to bounce, didn't it? Slightly front run, but it kind of hit my level. Didn't go further. It was front run, and then we're getting quite bearish price action here, to be honest with you. So we haven't got the reaction that maybe I would have wanted to see. We're getting higher, lower highs here. We got a nice bounce, but we're kind of hugging this golden pocket. And kind of yesterday, what I was talking about, and if you watch the video, my video from yesterday, I kind of explained it, didn't I? I kind of tried to explain it as best as I could. I was just talking about this correctiveness. When it was correcting, I said it was correcting. I didn't think it was impulsive. And then the minute it started dropping, I said, well, actually, this is probably going to go down to here, which it did. It kind of came down to here. And I kind of even gave people a little bit of a kind of idea of where it could react. Now, it hasn't kind of had a bullish a reaction as I had hoped. So that's okay. That's normal. It's not unexpected because it is a meme coin. And generally speaking, people aren't necessarily bullish with meme coins as they should be. It's a good opportunity to start buying. I look back at 30 cents. We were only at 48 cents like a few days ago. So let me just scrub these now, and let me just kind of delete all this shit. Let's just have a look at this and see what's going on. I haven't looked at this since yesterday, so I'm just kind of doing this live right now. I'm just kind of with fresh eyes having a look at this, seeing what's going on, seeing if I can figure it out. Let me update the volume levels here. This chart that I'm using right now is the Bybit perpetuals. Okay, I'll interchange between Bybit perpetuals and the combined chart between the 4 different exchanges that I've combined. Mohan is saying Wintermute became SLERF market maker, and recently their tokens were getting listed on big exchanges. That's the reason I'm kind of bullish on SLERF. I didn't know that, but thanks for that information. Well, yeah, that's great. Wintermute, huh? Amazing. Look, let's just break it down to the basics. Yeah, let's just focus on the basics first, and then we can get a little bit more kind of intricate. The volume, the point of control is in the lows of this overall range, so that's generally considered bullish. That being said, it's quite far away, and we have these kind of higher volume nodes in between the price before it gets down. You can see the nodes here. There's one here, there's kind of one here, and then there's one here. There's a few on the way. Yeah, as the price was going up, you can see how it found resistance. You see this kind of big red candle. You see how it found resistance at these volume nodes. So not only do they provide resistance as the price goes up, they also provide support as the price comes back down. Generally speaking, those are considered good areas to buy and sell. So right now we're coming into a high volume node. So as far as I'm concerned, it is considered a good place to buy and sell. Okay, because there's a lot of liquidity at these levels for buying and selling. Yeah, so if you sell up here and you there's low volume and the price will just escape away from you, you won't get, if you're selling a big position, you might get a really bad fill and you'll end up losing a certain percentage because of the spread. But when you come to these kind of higher volume nodes, you've got quite a large amount of liquidity, a lot of supply and demand at these nodes, and therefore you can buy and sell, and the spread is much tighter. But in the same essence, you sell but you're actually selling because there's demand. Yeah, you're coming into demand. All right, so that's kind of where we're at now. It's not it was not unexpected for us to get a little bit of a failed auction above the value area high. Yeah, especially because I'm counting waves, and we just counted 5 waves. Like literally, it's that simple when you're counting, when you're doing Elliott waves. Now, the waves that I was counting was, I mean, it's trickier. It's not that it's not as straightforward. But here, look, see, look. So this was your 1, that was your 2. It's a kind of a nice flat corrective 2, and then here you've got your 1, ABC, 3, ABC, and then you've got your 5 there. That was your 5 waves. So I was just counting waves, and so when that completed, everyone was like ultra bullish, and even someone on SLERF Sol posted someone's market by 2 million SLERF, and it kind of was the wrong time to buy, because you can clearly see that we've had 5 waves in this wave 3. We're kind of looking for a corrective pattern to form first. Now, initially I was thinking maybe we're just going to have a really nice flat ABC here, and we can continue, because that would be our 4, and then we can continue for a nice 5 there. That's obviously not happened, and so now we're kind of pulling back. Okay, so the correction continues. There isn't enough demand at these higher prices. That's all that it means, but it doesn't mean that the waves or the impulsive move is over. I still think that we have another wave to complete this wave 3. Okay, I still think that. Okay, I don't think that this is over. I think we have another wave. Now, what would yeah, I mean, that would, it wouldn't make sense otherwise, because you're looking at 5 waves. Now, technically, this 4 can't come underneath the top of this 1, so we've got quite a large space for this to correct. So even if it was to come down to here to crazy numbers like 1.18 cents and an impulse from here, it would still be valid. You know, it would still be a valid 5th wave. I'm not necessarily expecting that. And the reason why I'm not expecting that is because of what I explained yesterday. You're just counting ABC corrective moves. So where did I draw it? Let me just pull it up here. So maybe something like this. Maybe something like this. Maybe we got and the reason why I say maybe is because nothing is set in analysis. Like, it's all kind of speculative analysis, and then as new data comes, as new price candles are printed, then you can actually form a better analysis. But I'm still kind of in my original idea, which is some kind of ABC here. Some kind of, it looks like there's an ABC here, and possibly to just kind of match this first arm, something like this, maybe something like this. Okay, so I am still thinking like that. Actually, nothing's really changed, has it? I hoped that this would be slightly different. I hoped that maybe we would have something more like this, but it hasn't done that. It's kind of, the bounce was quite weak, and this high volume node is offering a little bit of support. Does it mean we're going to come here? No, it doesn't mean that. It's just an idea of what, if you suddenly, like, really, it's down to the market, it's down to supply and demand. If you suddenly see a shit ton of people buy here, then you're not going to go down there, are you? It doesn't matter what I'm saying. The reality is, if suddenly circumstances change and a lot of people start buying, then this isn't going to go down. If for whatever reasons that I can't explain, everyone starts selling, yeah, then this is just going to crash, you know. It's just, but I mean, if everything just goes steadily, correctively, and nothing kind of influences the markets, and this is just going as normal, then I think I'm looking for down here. somewhere down here. All right, and so let me just see. It's a kind of odd shape, huh? But let me just do a full fib on this lower. It's kind of nowhere as well. That's the thing. It's a bit nowhere. Oh, I see where it is. So actually it is somewhere. Let's just have a look at these waves here. So from the beginning here, from the 1 all the way up to that top 3, or maybe the top of it. Possibly coming into this 50% mark at somewhere around 26. And nothing is better than the golden pocket, really. So for reasons that I can't explain, you could also do this. Yeah. You'd want a really gentle kind of corrective. You want it to kind of land there and then go up like that. You don't want it to kind of sharply go down now. You kind of want it to match this. You kind of want it to match this. So I wouldn't even mind if it kind of does this either. So kind of like a similar, something very similar to that. I'd be okay with that. When you're looking at this higher time frame, these candles now, kind of you're coming into the top of this, aren't you? Yeah. Do you see how these this is the weekly time frame? You see how you've got these kind of this little kind of a big SR flip here. It's a little bit of an area. I'll draw it out for you. Kind of there. That would make sense, wouldn't it? That would make a lot of sense. To just kind of flip there. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I don't find it that easy to do this. I imagine the future, and surprisingly, sometimes it works, and for some reason, it does what I imagine sometimes. But it always surprises me when it does. Wednesday. So I mean, if you don't really want to come underneath this area really by Wednesday, and then you've got this kind of, what have you got? You've got this weekly level here. Look, you've got this week, the bottom side. You've got this. You'll be losing this daily level, but you'll be coming into this weekly level from before. There's a couple of weekly levels actually. So look, you've got these big weekly levels from before, That was clearly some kind of SR flip. If you look at where's my brush, you see that, see how it taps? So you kind of want to flip that level, don't you, that weekly level? And that was the weekly level that we came into resistance when we pulled back, when I first did the first video of a few weeks ago, when I said we're looking for a correction now. We kind of hit that perfectly. You kind of want it to come and hit that perfectly too now. Find support, and then hopefully we can go up. Let's have a look at the volume as well. Wouldn't mind a little bit more volume on this red candle. You see, there isn't that much volume. Just a little bit more would be nice. Maybe down to 25. Honestly, I don't know, but it could come down, and then it is possible to come down and then just kind of bounce. And then if we can just hold this area, this weekly level, that would be really nice. And then you just want to see an impulsive move then. All right. And then we have to count waves depending on how impulsive this is. But you know, initially I was hoping for higher. I was hoping for like 80 cents. I'm not really thinking 80 cents that from these lows, to be honest with you, because it's a bit higher. It's a bit too high. I'll be thinking probably a 1-to-1 at the very high, at the very most, of this trend based. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, probably somewhere around 63. But you never know. I mean, like, crypto is crazy, yeah? Things can impulse way beyond your expectations. There isn't really any confluence. Yeah, we'd have to impulse here. We can't just kind of, the minute you give up all of those gains, and then you need to see some big volume coming in here to taking this up again. All right, I mean, I'll continue having a look at this. I mean, I'm going to post a video today, but it's not going to look great, is it? People are going to go, oh my god, I'm going to need to buy SLERF now. They're going to be like, shit, what I should have sold. That being said, if you see this, none of this is financial advice. Yeah, I do this just for fun. It's a hobby. My higher time frame strategy on SLERF is just to hodl, hodl it until the end of all season. Yeah, so if you watch my videos, you'll see I'll say exactly the same thing. I do lightly leverage when we come into areas of support, and then after we get like big impulsive moves, I deleverage, right? Take profit. I do that very lightly leverage. I don't do anything more than like 1x to be honest with you, because I don't because otherwise you're just giving the market makers an excuse to liquidate you, and I don't think that's smart. But that being said, my higher time frame trade on SLERF is spot, and I'm waiting for much higher. Honestly, I'm waiting for higher time frame Elliott waves to play out. So it's just all of what I'm doing now is just speculative, and it's just fun really. And you've got to be having fun when you're charting or when you're trading. You should be. If you're not having fun, then you're in the wrong business. You shouldn't be doing this if you're not having fun. If you don't have fun looking at charts and trying to predict movements and trying to find good places to buy and sell, then if it's too stressful, you shouldn't be doing it. Going back to basics, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. I don't think we want to take out this low here. That would be at this underneath this daily level, okay? Because that's your kind of your higher low on this daily time frame, isn't it? You see how we're putting in higher highs, higher lows. That was your higher high, came to put in a higher low here, went up to put a higher high there. Now we're coming in to put a higher low. So we don't want to see market structure change on the daily time frame, because that would be awfully bearish. If for reasons that I can't explain, the price does take out this low for a lower low, then naturally a lot of people, as it comes up to put in a lower high, a lot of people will sell into that, because they won't necessarily expect it to go all the way up to the top there. They'll be looking to sell into that for a lower high. Okay, what we want to see right now is another higher low, and that is the trade. And the closer you get down to this pivot here, the better the ROI on this trade effectively. So right now we're into the golden pocket. I think the last fib level is down here at 25 cents. See the 886, 25 cents. That's your kind of your last line in the sand when it comes to fib levels on this pullback. Right now we're into the golden pocket, which is a good place. And then you coincide that with your higher time frame levels. You've got this weekly level. You see how they kind of correspond here. And then also, let me just do one more thing here. Let me just pull the volume just from these lows. No, nothing interesting. So this is quite interesting. So just to give you a little bit of context, so our Elliott wave move kind of started here, you see, with this one here. This is where it started. So if you pull the volume from when the waves, the impulsive waves began, okay, what you actually have is the value area high corresponds with my weekly level, corresponds with the 886, and that would correspond with the last line of defense for a higher low here. We need a higher low here. Okay, I think that would potentially also correspond with this corrective move. Did I delete it? Don't think I did. This corrective move somewhere here. So I do think there's quite a lot of kind of interesting confluence here. It's hard to pick out, but there is. You can see it. Weekly level, back test of that weekly level, that pivot. That's a big SR flip. You've got this 886 fib, and then you've got from where the Elliott wave impulses began, from the 0 to the 1. If you draw volume profile, you'll see the value area high is there as well, which kind of exactly comes on that same level, doesn't it? That would be the best ROI on this kind of trade setup, because you don't want a lower low here, you want a higher low, and that's kind of what you're looking for, another impulsive move to catch it if we come down. And that would be potentially the correction as complete as well, because you're kind of counting this correction and we've kind of got it to come down to here. At the moment I've got it to come down a little bit higher at 26, but the kind of the area, the absolute low here in my mind would be somewhere about 25, just above 25, somewhere between 25 and 26. So yeah, so let's see what happens. Let's see if we do get a kind of a crazy reaction, and then hopefully, I mean, let's see when that will happen. Then maybe by Wednesday would be nice for that to be head to that. And then if we can get a nice impulsive move again, counting 5 waves from here, I don't really know. I mean, maybe a 1-to-1, and if we do come all the way down to here and we do a 1-to-1, then we're only really going to take the high up, just up there, just to take those highs again. But still, that'll be okay, because you're just putting, that's kind of what you want to do with every move that we make. We want to put higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. I don't mind that. I don't really need this to go to infinity today, but what we do need is our higher lows and higher highs. Okay, every single time, higher lows. So every time we impulse, if we put in another higher high, every time we correct, if we can put in a higher low, then by the end of this alt season, we'll probably be trading at infinity $1 billion. Okay, so as long as we keep that idea, so if people have taken profit, they're looking for the best entry here, for the most lucrative entry here, this is probably where it's going to be. 25, somewhere between 25 and 26 on Wednesday. All right, assuming we lose this area of interest here, because the other thing you have to bear in mind is always possible to lose it here and then just kind of reclaim it, and actually it doesn't, it kind of, your whole area is front run. And the reason why that can happen sometimes is because there's so much demand, there's so many people desperate to get an entry, and they just won't allow the price to get down to lower, yeah, because they're trying to fill. And generally speaking, you know, people who are trying to fill, they'll place limit orders, they won't necessarily place market orders, and that kind of prevents the price from coming down, especially if no one is selling. And the lower it gets, you know, the more kind of the less inclined people are to sell. They're probably more inclined to just hodl. All right, so that's kind of SLERF. I hope that helps, and obviously if there are any questions, just put it underneath this comment on this video or this X post. If you like my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you could just kind of give me a share and a like on YouTube. That will help get the word out, because that also helps, doesn't it, getting the word out about SLERF, and kind of that helps, doesn't it?